Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Furlong, I am your host, and I'm super thrilled to introduce you to a new segment, a new kind of episode that I'm introducing here on the podcast, and that is called Further Your Idea. Now, the whole premise for this is to explore ideas submitted by the community, in which basically we dive a little deeper, we brainstorm, and we explore this idea that the individual has submitted. It might be a passion, it might be a hobby, it might be just something that they've been working on for a while, and they want to know, well, how would I further this? How could I take it a little step further and potentially monetize it? So that's what we do in this episode, and this is the first one, so it is a bit of fun. And I also had the opportunity to have Drew and Sarah from last week's episode from the Look Mum I'm Hustling podcast actually help out with this. And we dive into the idea around board games. If you had a passion for board games, how would you take this a step further and actually potentially make a bit of a side hustle out of it, and even monetize it to make maybe even a living from it? So that's what we dive in today. If you are new here, we do have the YouTube experience. So if you want to watch that, hang out, you can. Otherwise, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those great places. However you like to listen, get comfortable, get cozy, grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or if you're driving, of course, just make sure you're listening. And let's just jump straight into it. It's also a really good segue to something that I want to introduce to the audience listening, first time hearing it here. A new segment called Further Your Idea. Now, you've been talking about you love all the different ideas and dabbling down and exploring it. So I actually had this idea of, what if we could explore ideas that are submitted from community members or from whoever, just made up as well, but explore them, brainstorm into them, and see how, people would further this idea and monetize it. And I've actually bought one already with me that I want to kind of just throw out there, and we can kind of jump in and just explore. To see if this was you guys, and I'm here to bounce ideas as well. But if the scenario is board games, right? There's this person that loves playing board games. They love the experience. They love unboxing, the end-to-end process of actually learning the game, then finishing the game, whether it's alone or with people. And they spend so much time doing this. They wanted to think, well, how can they actually further this idea into something a bit more? Because they're spending all this time. Which is good. They're having a lot of fun, but obviously they're not making any money from doing that. And, if this was you, what would you do about it to maybe take it a bit further, to potentially monetize it, or to make it something a bit bigger than just a side hobby?
So someone has a passion for playing different board games, you'd have to go down the content creation route for any sort of monetization.
So maybe a live stream of playing, or an unboxing, then setting it up.
So first thing I would do if I was this person, I would learn video editing fast, whether it's on a phone, on a free app, on a computer, whatever you have access to. I would learn how to just cut and slice edit, and then potentially how to do some text overlay and throw some music on. And then I would start making content ASAP. Live streams on Twitch, YouTube unboxings is the most obvious avenue. Set up a camera, do an unboxing. And then from there, you capitalize on keywords. So let's say, I don't know, Magic the Gathering board game. I don't think it's a board game, but it's a card game. Whatever. You just make videos about that content. Like if you love it and love unboxing it, you're going to want to play it, right? So I would do top 10 moves of how to kill such and such in this game, or top things about this game you should know. And then another way of potentially getting monetization for something like that is, if you love playing it but you don't have many friends like me, maybe you charge people to play with you. So you could maybe have some sort of lottery system.
You've got virtual Dungeon and Dragon matches and stuff as well. That's true. It would be something similar to that. So people maybe pay for a membership, everyone can play online together, everyone sees each other and role plays and things like that.
So it could be a lottery prize. You could put up some money and then have some sort of tournament around the game, if it's playable virtually. Walkthroughs, all that sort of stuff. I'd make content and then trim it down to short form content on Reels on TikTok, all that sort of stuff. Other than that, it's hard. It's especially with board games, for sure.
You said it's hard, and I was literally just about to say, well, it sounds like, Drew, you're ready to go, mate. When are you starting? And then you're like, oh, but it's hard. It's like, hang on a second. No, look, there's so much to cover there, and I just want to back it up. So, okay, so I have a question for you then. So do you guys play a lot of board games?
No,
not as much as we'd like to. We have some like
really good ones.
Some good ones. We have like a good Star Trek one that's worth like $200. We've never played.
Yeah, Catan.
Catan's the most recent purchase. We played
that's
that
a lot
once.
of fun. Yeah, got Disney Monopoly hanging out.
Yeah, but no one cares about Monopoly. That's not real board games. Catan is probably the recent one where we don't play it heaps. Something we should play again, but we played Xbox recently and it was more of a cooperative thing. And I feel like that's a good communication bond building exercise as opposed to trying to destroy each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Take over your kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I really liked, and I want to try and unpack this a bit more just for the people listening. So the first thing you said was, you jump straight in about, video content or filming it or, creating content around it. And I think what was really important though, is that you actually said, go learn how to, film, go learn how to edit, go learn how to do that. And I think that's quite interesting because a lot of the time, people see an idea and people will go tell them, it's like, oh, okay, just start creating content. And they're like, I don't know how to create content. So they scare away from it and they never pursue the actual thing, right? Because they're scared that they have to go learn something else to be able to make that other thing actually happen. And I think sometimes, that can actually be, well, it's uncomfort, right? A lot of people just want everything to come, bang, 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 and I can just play games and I'm just going to make money. Well, the reality is that's not going to be the case. It's like with reselling, right? Yeah, you're not going to make money unless you list the item and sell it. You're not going to make, even for your podcast isn't going to sell itself. You have to continue to bring stuff on top of that. So I think that's a really key thing for people to understand, that if you are going to dabble into something, unless you already are naturally skilled at editing and then you wanted to then go find something to then make videos about, you're then probably going to have to go learn that thing that you want a video about, right? So I feel like it's a very key thing for people to understand that if you're going to jump into something, you need to be willing to, probably brush up on skills, learn something on the side to enable it to be bigger and better than it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? I mean, how many people are using TikTok these days, right? Just with learning it with, you can jump in. For me, it's scary as heck, but I haven't actually invested more than, 10 minutes in actually learning how to use it. So it's probably actually not that scary.
Yeah, definitely exactly the same sentiment here. Like I wouldn't say I'm an expert in video editing, but like I know my way around Premiere Pro. But even like doing a TikTok, I'm like, how the hell do I put this together? Yeah. Like it's a new concept. So like the first thing is spending the hours researching, right? Same as anything. Yep. Spend 50 hours learning how to do it, and then practice. Be prepared to yep. fall on your face multiple times, and then keep practicing and keep pumping it out. But I'd, like the first thing would be learn the art form and how to create the art. Yep. And then apply it. To your whatever your passion is. Yeah.
So then if someone was to, they're learning, they've got that good, they're good to start filming, right? So you mentioned a lot of things. You said, you could do top 10 things, you could do unboxing, you could actually film the game. What would be an ideal thing to kind of start? Like they've never created anything on YouTube before. They're about to introduce themselves because we've gone down the route of creating content of board games. How do you even jump into that, right? Like for me, like when I think of, if I was to monetize this myself, exactly same route. You want to be putting it on YouTube and getting people in it. Is it kind of reviewing games first, or is it, actually walking through the process of the game? Or do you think doing like the instructions of games, or like how do you start off from, nothing? Because I think that's a scary thing of like, well, what's going to get the most traction first?
I mean, don't take this as advice, like, because we don't do it with our channel at all. Our channel is like a free for all. But it comes down to research. Like research 40 videos. If you're buying XYZ board game, go and search XYZ board game in YouTube. Look at the top 20 results. What are they tagged? What story are they telling? What are their titles? And then find how you can fit into that ecosystem. Doesn't have to be the same content, doesn't have to be the same thumbnail or title, but like, what is your story around this board game? Like that's something we've realized more recently, is like YouTube's about storytelling, like
passion.
We don't
what
want
are you
to just
passionate
like
about?
do, show people what items are selling. We want to tell a story about our life and how this thing is impacting our life. So I would work that into the video. Like, this is a game that I love. These are things I don't know about it. Let's learn about it together. And then the end result is we both found out together. So one thing would be like unboxing is a given. That's
100%. I was going to say
sure.
unboxing. Yep.
Maybe some common rules or misconceptions around a particular game. It's that sort of content. It all comes down to the research, and I would make a list of 10 video ideas based around that content. And if I'm assuming this person would love multiple board games, I would just try to make 10 videos from the one board game. So can I do a unboxing? Can I do a how to play? Can I do the best strategies? Can I do a things to avoid?
Like just tips, all that kind of stuff.
And then like a playthrough video. I would try and nut out 5 to 10 videos you can crank out for every board game, and then just rinse and repeat. That's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's great. It sets the content. You've got things moving. You're getting an audience. You've got people coming in. Let's say you've hit 500 subscribers or something, right? Before even, and you're not even monetized on YouTube yet. So okay, you furthered the idea. It's explored. I think these are great ideas, right? People, you could literally pick this up and start doing it yourselves. But then how? Where's the money? How do you bring in money to this, right? And I know you guys touch on where you could, kind of hire a friend to play the game with, or you could do this. So if you had to monetize it and you're not getting enough views to be able to get, 4,000 hours on YouTube, maybe you're getting sent a free game here and there to be able to review or whatever. But if you were then trying to think, okay, so how can I start to actually monetize this further? Because, you're doing all those videos, you're probably spending, let's say you're spending 12 to 20 hours a week creating all this content, that being unpaid, it's not really cool. So what would you kind of think how would you try and monetize it a little bit?
Well, it comes down to any sort of endeavor like this. Like the way you're going to make money is by providing either a service, information, or entertainment. Like what one of those are you going to provide? So as a service, you could potentially do one-on-one coaching. Let's say it's a really intense game and there's there's higher level up, like competitions and leagues. You could do tutorial, like actual be a tutor of a video, one-on-one Skype tutoring. You can create ebooks, PDFs. They're not hard to make and easy to distribute, very low fee, passive income of a couple of bucks for each download. That's sort of the avenue you can do. Making merch is a simple one, as like a YouTube thing, but it's a dicey sort of area. You're not really going to be making that much consistent money and volume from like clothing sales, but I would say making services.
You got things also like those other services like Patreon, and having that community support you as well, like relying on your fan base, like if they're actually enjoying the content that you're putting out, have their support and build that up as well.
I think having a service, that'd be a cool thing I hadn't thought of before, is having a one-on-one mentor and then having some sort of lottery pool, because you want to draw people in to why you're there. You want people encouraged to come and spend money. So some sort of lottery thing where
creates excitement, engagement.
It's same as a giveaway. Like the person that can beat me or can figure out how to beat me at this move or something wins a prize,
a board game,
anything like that. Even just the one-on-one battles. If you can beat me, you win $1,000. And then you have 1,000 entries. You have 1,000 entries, and
Mr. Beast style.
There's heaps of options. It depends on how many subs the person has to how feasible all these options are. Like 500 subs, you're probably not going to be that successful with an ebook. So it sort of depends on what tier you're at.
No, I think there's some great ideas there. And the one there, is the other one with the Patreon or whatever. You could start to do, live games with your audience or whatever, right? And live games with only your Patreon audience, right? So that means they're paying $5 a month, and every month you guys do a live game together, or you stream it on Twitch, or open it only to that audience. I think could be a great opportunity as well, because the dollars is coming already. It's just making sure people are paying each month for the Patreon thing. So some really good ideas here. And I think there's no right or wrong answer with this, and the whole reason why I want to explore this more and more is to encourage people that we have so many ideas, or we have hobbies, or things that we do that we don't even realize there's so much potential. And it's not about trying to force people you need to make money from this, but help people realize that we have access to so much technology, to so much opportunity. And a lot of the time people have these amazing ideas, but they're not looking at it from an idea of how can I make a living from this? You think about the people that have, just started a TikTok channel, and they're just sharing it, the journey day by day, and then all of a sudden they've gone viral, and next thing you know, they're getting sponsorships, and they don't have to work anymore. And a lot of the time that wasn't necessarily their intent the whole time. Then there's people that go out with that intent, which is 100% fine as well. So I think it's more to encourage people that, whether you're got board games, or you like making puzzles or whatever, there's ways to be able to take it further, whether it is to monetize it or actually just make something out of it, which is to bring a community together. And I think, especially with the current times at the moment with COVID and lockdowns and things, I think it gives people a chance to maybe look beyond something or distract them from all the uncertainty or the chaos, and maybe, find something that they didn't even realize was sitting right in front of their noses, right? And see if they can take it a little further.
Yeah, it's just about exploring. Like it's just critical thinking outside the box, what can be done. And there's plenty of inspirations out there you can take from. It doesn't necessarily have to be in board games necessarily. Like I'm telling Sarah all the time, like any sort of inspiration, no matter if it's from TikTok or a blog post or a magazine article, if there's something we can take from that and spin it to work for us and what we like, tell me about it, and let's have a think. And like, how can we take source of inspiration from everywhere and then gear it towards us? That's something like we try to do as frequently as possible, I think. And it just creates an open mind, open dialogue about new ideas, new potentials.
Yeah, it just keeps us thinking always, like just keep moving on to the bigger and better things.
Bigger and better.
That's it. So folks, this was the first time actually going through this segment called Further Your Idea. And if you guys have ideas, reach out, please connect, because I would love to put your idea out here into the open with another guest and explore it further, because I think there's a great opportunity just to get that fresh perspective. Whether it will be Drew and Sarah, I don't know, but if you've got an idea, don't be shy, put it out there, and we'll see if we can dive into it. Well, there you go, team. How cool is that? I mean, I love this episode. I love where this is potentially going, but I need your help. I need to know some feedback. I want to hear from you. Is this something that you enjoyed? Is this something that you would want to hear more of? And of course, you can do that by jumping over to my Instagram over at Further Your Lifestyle, and just drop a DM or leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this episode. Of course, if you want to get involved and maybe you have an idea, a passion, a hobby, or something that you want to further, you want to take it a step further and potentially monetize it, I would love to get involved. I would love to have the conversation with you and see if we could add it to these segments. So if you are interested in doing that, there is a form at the bottom of the show notes that you can jump through and submit your idea. Put your ideas down and share some details, and then I can take this, whether it's with myself or with some other guests, and dive into it, brainstorm, and see if we were in your shoes, how would we further this idea. So I really appreciate you being here. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm excited where this can go. And I want to say a big thank you to Drew and Sarah also for helping out with this episode too. Of course, my name's Chris Furlong. I am your host. Really appreciate you being here. And I had an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. You have a wonderful day. Cheers. Now, if you didn't know, we do have the podcast merch, and this is with a key focus of enamel pins. Now, if you haven't checked these out, make sure you do, because the intent of these are really just to be a small token and a reminder for you to charge on, to push on, and to further your lifestyle. Whether it is a gift for someone else to encourage them, or maybe to inspire them, or maybe it's a way to motivate yourself, or you can simply just make a purchase to simply support the podcast, which would be greatly appreciated. We do also have some sweaters and some long tees, so make sure you check it out. Link in the description and in the show notes. Really do appreciate it. Cheers.